हम रेजिमेंट वाला ने भी करना है कुछ, ठीक है ना, सबको ठीक करना है, ठीक है जी। हाँ, लो नंबर को सबको ठीक करना है, आपका आदमी लोग को भी समझा के रखना, ठीक है ना। हम भी इधर भी समझाएंगे, उधर भी समझाएंगे, है ना। ओके साहब। हाँ, मेम साहब लोग ठीक है ना, मेम साहब लोग ठीक है। हम सब ठीक ठाक है, ठीक है। हाँ, हम सब फिर मिलेंगे, हाँ फिर मिलेंगे। ओके ओके। हाँ,
He spoke to a JCO who is from the Kuki community.
They were ready to die for me, in Kargil, na? Yeah, Cookie. He's a Cookie JSO talking to you, but he is not a person whom he commanded. He's from Gukha regiment, but the Cookie chaps are commanded.
He's a Cookie JSO.
Guess what? He is a retired colonel from Methi community, but he was seen speaking with his counterpart from the Kuki community. The colonel says this is his everyday affair to connect with one and all. The test of time hasn't broken the spirit of the soldiers because Indian Army has taught them to be one, and they are certain Indian Army will remain as one forever. He wasn't alone. We visited a place in Imphal where these ex-servicemen meet regularly. They are aware of the circumstances around, but like a soldier, they haven't given up on hope. The least they know they can do is to keep the connect alive. These walls greeted us in the Wall of Honor, where the names of our valiant soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice for the motherland shine to inspire unity and strength for generations to come. There wasn't a better day than our Independence Day to have this discussion from the soil of Manipur.
What is he saying?
He's talking about his daughter. She's got fever.
Does he miss you? Does he miss you?
Yeah.
Ask him.
Nang mo kayo lakad lagi. When you come. जब पीस होगा तब आओगे.
पीस जब होगा तब जो है अभी आके क्या करूँगा.
आ भी नहीं सकोगे यार.
All cookies are not illegal. They have been our brothers. They have been staying with us for 150 years.
So see, I served in a battalion called 9 Jammu Kashmir Light Infantry. And there we had Muslim troops, Hindu troops, all manner of troops. And all over we had the concept of Mandir, Masjid, Gurudwara. And I found that there was not a single Muslim who was less brave than a Hindu, or a Hindu who was less brave than a Muslim.
We have just come down to this office where many ex-servicemen come and spend their quality time together as a place where they all come together. And the moment you come here, you have such names engraved on the wall, and these are the names of our soldiers who have died during the World War II. And then you have the Gallantry Award list. There are names on the wall of as they call it, Wall of Fame, Roll of Honor for those who killed in action during World War II. So these are names of martyrs who belong to Indian Armed Forces, who belong to Indian Army. They were never known by their name of community, and that's the reason possibly it's important we do this story and we tell this story, because I requested all of them to spend some time with us, spend some time with you all, so that you get to understand the psyche of a soldier and how the soldier, when they wear the uniform, what works in their mind. It's called uniform because it unifies, and those who are now fighting over this or that can they divide the uniform? That's a question I want to ask all the very revered ex-servicemen. They have all been part of the force, and to begin with you, sir, when you see what is happening in Manipur today, does it hurt you?
It is sad to see, especially as an army man, army officer, because in any army unit where you have mixed troops, we have Kukis, Meiteis, Nepalese, all together. There is no different, place for everyone. There we are living together. Now with the present turmoil, there may be certain effect psychologically and otherwise, especially at the lower level, at the troops level. But still I feel the only unifying force which is available in India is the Indian Armed Forces. That is my say.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. When people see our soldiers in uniform, the obvious gesture is your hands invariably go up on the head, because that's the salute one wants to do out of respect for all the sacrifices you all have made and our soldiers are still making. That's the least we can do. And now we have come to a situation where people are fighting over their uniform. There is so much of distrust. Colonel Sharma, we were discussing as Manipur contributes the highest, one of the highest, to our Indian Armed Forces in per capita ratio. The current situation, do you see that as a threat? I'm sure Manipur has always been very proud of the fact that per capita wise they are one of the highest contributors to Indian Armed Forces. Do you see the current situation as a threat to that?
No, there's no threat to it at all. Indian Armed Forces, it remains, as Colonel Koijama also brought out, it is absolutely, it doesn't have any religion as such. The religion of the troop is the religion of the men or the officers. This, like in a regiment like Assam regiment, right? You have the Meiteis, you have the Kukis, you have the Nagas, and various other, even the Pangals are also there. Pangals are the Muslims, Manipuri Muslims, right? This institution is, so far as concerned, there is no threat to it because of this ethnic violence that is happening in Manipur.
Okay, but if people feel they are divided, can the armed forces unite them, at least to think that there is only one armed forces?
Yes, of course. There's only one armed forces. Like for example, in this current situation, I'm interacting with all the, all the ex-servicemen, maybe Meiteis, maybe, Nagas or the Kukis. I'm interacting all with them. At all levels, there is not so much of it. It's more of some of the CSOs or some organizational politicians for their own personal gains, or they have created this kind of a situation. That is what I feel.
What is their sentiment? Do they share the same sentiment with you? When you connect with the retired servicemen from the Kuki community, do they share the same sentiment like yours?
Yeah, they do share. Most of them share. Most of them. We have lost 2 ex-servicemen. One from the Kuki community. We have lost one from the Meitei community. We have the 2 fathers having lost their sons, and that also one from the Kuki community and one from the Meitei community. So I am not trying to bring out whether this is more or this is less. No, I'm trying to say that everybody has suffered. Everybody has suffered. Maybe Kuki or the Meitei, all have suffered.
There cannot be Indian army for the Meiteis, or there cannot be Indian army for Kukis. Indian army will be only one Indian army.
So in that case, those who are fighting today, and if tomorrow they join the Indian army, they have to stand next to each other, fight the enemy, not fight amongst each other. So why can't that good sense come now and give peace another chance?
The Indian Armed Forces cannot be divided by small incidents like what is happening in Manipur. the ethnic conflict crisis and imbroglio, what is happening here? There are two types, two conditions, two profiles. One is the political profile, one is the ethnic profile. Coming to this security profile, ethnic profile, and everything combined in this thing, and the Indian Army, ex-servicemen, whatever we have got it, we will ensure that after settle down, when peace come, everybody sit down together, then talk. Now emotion is more here. Political pressure is more here. Political ingredient is here. That is why people are trying to exploit each other.
The power of unity is much more powerful than any idea of divide.
Absolutely.
That is the fundamental on which India is standing. It's all about tolerance, which I think is lacking at the moment. You have all been soldiers, served at very difficult terrains. If today comes a time when a soldier has to go there, can two soldiers belonging to two other communities, different communities, decide on their community divide first or decide on the interest of the country first?
See, we have a saying in the army that is, once in army, you are always in army. Let's not talk about, I'll not talk about serving. I'll talk about the retired people also. They are always in army. This is what we have been taught. So I think this will clear the the question you are asking. Now, while in service, I belong to Assam Regiment. I am from 8th Assam Regiment. In Assam Regiment, the troops are from entire northeast. So we have Meiteis, Assamese, and Meghalaya, people from Meghalaya, Mizos, Nagaland, Kukis, and we have different, all this thing, the composition is there. All the troops, they must be sitting together and eating together. Kuki, Meitei, Naga, and all these things. They all must be in the battalion because our training is such. We must stand for the unity of this country. My only request to the central government is when this kind of things happen, the action should be very swift. Any day passing by, every single day, any incident will increase the hatred for each other. We have lived here for hundreds of years, and because of our small requirements, we should not fight and kill each other.
Exactly. It's as it said, justice is done and justice is seen to be done. Both are important. Similarly, when action is being taken and action is being seen to be taken, both are required to instill confidence at this juncture. Sir, to ask you something on a personal level. You are very young, you are retired at a very young age, and you started your academy. Any personal experience you have which has shocked you? Because as a soldier, you wanted to train more people to join the army. Any personal experience?
Well, I'm sort of like an outsider to Manipur, and finally, after doing my stint with the Indian Army, I decided to settle down in Imphal because I had my vision that I wanted to put in as many people from Manipur, regardless of their, like Manipur is Manipur. So from Manipur, I wanted to put in as many people into the defense forces as possible. Now, in my academy, on that fateful day of 3rd May, I got a request from one of the students, Cookie students, that, sir, there seems to be something wrong. Please let us go. So I said, okay, go. Then after that,
were you aware of what was happening till then?
We were briefly aware that there was at some rally for peace rally going to be taken out, and we were briefly aware that something might brew up from there. And at around 4 o'clock, when the class was supposed to start, around 4:20 around, the students requested to leave because they got messages from their parents too that there's been mayhem and they must run away from there. So luckily they all managed to escape, including my Naga students whom I kept for the next 6 days, and got evacuated by the Assam Rifles and Indian Army together. From the point of view of how it affects the intake into the Indian Armed Forces, the effect will not be much because patriotism for the country is at a different level, and this is at a different it is at the back of our minds, like it is there, like our racial, we cannot deny our racial kinship for each other, but we are taught to rise above this, above religion, and become as one India. Now if you see, I served in a battalion called 9 Jammu Kashmir Light Infantry, and there we had Muslim troops, Hindu troops, all manner of troops. And all over we had the concept of Mandir, Masjid, Gurudwara. And I found that there was not a single Muslim who was less brave than a Hindu, or a Hindu who was less brave than a Muslim. Regardless, their faith in me, their loyalty to me was purely 100%. And many Muslim soldiers died, many Hindu soldiers died fighting for the nation. And if we could survive that, this is not such a big deal. We can get over this issue.
Well, everyone says, Colonel Sharma, we will get over this, it is a small issue. What is lacking now? Why is it not under control in 3 months? I'm sorry, 3 months? Too long a period. Where are we lacking?
Actually, what is the polarization is taken place. And both sides are, they have their own preconditions to start or to initiate any kind of a peacemaking deal. So it will take some time. But are we losing out on time? That is the question. So I have some recommendations for that also. The first recommendation I have is that disarm all the armed groups.
Armed troops?
Yes. Maybe
armed groups.
Groups, right? That is the Meiteis armed groups, if they're having arms, or the Kuki armed groups, disarm them all, including the licensed weapons should also be withdrawn temporarily, so that there's no killing of each other. Remove all the bunkers, right? So that people start believing that, yes, people start having that sense of security, and they can start going back to their villages. Where
You think that is possible?
Why not? Everything is possible.
With the use of force?
Yes.
And use of force requires intention or courage, or both?
Both.
Why hasn't that happened then? Do you think there is lack of intention?
Yes, there is lack of intention.
From which side?
Maybe from the state, maybe from the center. If the intentions are clear, if the both sides want peace, it will not be impossible. It is always possible.
I feel that there is a lack of direction, or lack of, some kind of focus from the political leaders as well as the bureaucrats. Why it has taken so much of a time, and why they have not been able to control, or why they have not been able to bring peace and tranquility despite having so much of a forces, like you said, BSF, RAF, Assam Rifles, then Army, and it's almost, in addition to the state police that we have, it's more than 1 lakh plus, and for a small state like Manipur, and I'm still yet to find a reason as to why so much of time has taken to control or to bring normalcy in this small state.
One thing I am definitely positive about is there is a lack of political will to solve this particular problem. If the politicians wanted to solve this particular problem, they can solve it.
Okay, so you are saying there is a lack of political will. Do you agree there is a lack of political will?
I do agree. There's total lack of political will. If you go back pre-3rd May, there were a number of indicators where the state government, if they had got involved, this should not have happened. There were 2-3 incidents that have taken place. Otherwise, if you ask a Kuki, does he have any enmity with a Meitei? No, we don't have. But this has been created.
So you think this is manufactured?
Yes, it is somewhat manufactured. Thereafter, the handling of the situation has not been correct.
Manufactured, do you also agree, Colonel Sapam, it's manufactured, handling of the situation not being proper?
As sir has said, there were some incidents before pre-3rd May. Indicators were there. But these indicators basically, I would say the state intelligence or the police department, I think they failed or something.
Okay.
They did not act on those days. Pre-third, I'm talking about. Pre-third, they do not act or what?
There is a need to understand this northeastern region of India right from the highest level, that is from the central government, from the defense ministry, as well as from the state government. Whatever is happening here, 5,000 assorted arms and ammunition has been looted from the police armory, from the police station. Now does it make it a big issue? Yes. From the security point of view, it is a big issue. Now that can create such a big incident in the Indo-Myanmar region.
So I'm more concerned about the point at this juncture is how do we unite people? How can forces unite people? There is also distrust among people on forces. People are saying that that regiment is close to that community. This regiment is close to this community. You all possibly have your own community identities. I have never asked, you have never said. How to unite people?
To this effect, I'd like to bring to your notice that I have a group of officers, more than 257 of us who are there, who communicate with each other, and we are all from all groups of Manipur. Initially, when this conflict happened, we were divided. It was emotional shock for all of us that this happened. But over time, we have fused back together again, and now we debate in full open. What we say, we tell each other that whatever you think you can tell me worst about me, tell me. This is the way forward, and we have to come down together and discuss. Now, what was blocking initially their minds also, I understood that the narrative that this is irretractable. We cannot get over this. This is a chasm which cannot be bridged. Now we are all still friends. I have numerous Kuki friends, numerous Naga officer friends, and they are still my friends. And some of them differ with me, I differ with them on somebody, but we have thrashed it out. And now we agree with it.
You because you run this academy, when that incident happened, when your Kuki students came and said there is a situation we have to go, did that hurt you?
Actually, it was bewilderment. We were all bewildered at that time because we knew there is something happening, but we could not understand the enormity and why this enormous thing happened. It's social media.
Would you want your students to come back?
Obviously, and they themselves inquire, and some of them are online also. Many people want to come back to the mainstream. Any normal person I speak to, any Kuki officer, his family, we have, my children, they studied in the school with the Kuki friends, they attend each other's birthday parties. There was nothing, we are all best of friends, and still, despite their house being burned, they still say, if possible, we must get back together. Let's forgive and forget, because what is the way ahead? We cannot kill each other permanently. We have to move ahead by forgiving each other.
I will ask this to all the soldiers one by one. I met one, again, I don't want to identify him as a Kuki soldier, but then he's a retired serviceman, and he came to me and he said, I'm hurt. He was literally in his tears, and he said, there is protest going on, and they are saying that all Kukis are illegal immigrants. I have served in Jammu and Kashmir. I was there in Kargil. I fought for the country, stayed away from the family, and now somebody calls me an illegal immigrant. It hurts. So, I just want your take on that. When somebody calls another person illegal immigrant, you as a soldier, what would you tell to your other soldier?
I wish everybody living in Manipur, they believe they are Manipuri first, then a Meitei, Kuki or Naga or Pangal, which is not so. We are deeply hurt. Manipur is a mini India. You have everybody. You have the Muslims, you have the Hindus, you have the Christians, you have the Jews, you have Buddhists and whatnot, right? And you have Marwaris, everybody. You go to More, you Tamilians. They are all same family members. They are not our neighbors. They are all family members. It's a fight in the family, right? All Kukis are not illegal immigrants, right? Somebody has made up a story and saying this, all Kukis are illegal immigrants. No. As I know, in 1840, 45, 1845, 50, which we call the coming of the Kukis, okay? They started coming in. So they all are not illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are those people who have come very recently. All Kukis are not illegal immigrants. They have been our brothers. They have been staying with us for 150 years.
These words can only come from a soldier, because the soldier, as I always say, unite. As one of the ex-servicemen said, in the prayer room, there is no one as Muslim, there is no one as Hindu, there is no one as Christian, there is no one as Jew. They're all soldiers pursuing their own faith without anybody's interruption or any force trying to divide them. Sir said, anyone living in Manipur is Manipuri first, and then Meitei, then Kuki, then Naga, then Marwari. I like to say is, anybody living in India is Indian.
I was going to come to that. That is a idyllic kind of response where Salman Khan says, I am Indian first. Obviously, that is when he said, it goes without saying that we are all Indian first. Thereafter, rest whatever our ethnic backgrounds are, as I said, we cannot neglect it. It is part of your blood only. But it cannot become the factor bigger than patriotism. Whoever has done any criminal act needs to be exemplarily punished, both sides, whether it be Meitei or Kuki. We both need to be sorted out by the rule of law, not by saying I will give him highest possible punishment just because of emotion. No, we need to work out amongst ourselves, and that reconciliation has to start from the grassroots among each other, and that is most important, dialogue between the two communities, and that has to happen. It has to start from some level. You just can't give up, and obviously you cannot include warring parties into it. Like, you cannot have the main architects of the conflict on both sides.
So you think there are architects of the conflict?
I mean, all leaders are architects. So how can a conflict take place without somebody making a concoction? A brew is there because somebody has put some concoctions. So those architects are from both sides. So these both sides, they should be out of it, and new people should come in and take the center stage and bring peace.
With all due respect, sir, I just want to understand, if there is a fight happening in a classroom, all students are fighting, should the teacher intervene or not?
The teacher should intervene, but this is not a classroom. Again, I want to say the analogies we are using are very wrong, like family fighting father.
When you say that people internally has to sort it out, very good. Now, if there are warring parties, if they cannot, so which means anybody committing a crime, an adult committing a crime on another adult, should sort it out, never go to judiciary.
When two people are fighting, like say you and me are discussing, sir, please help out. Should I say that? You give your point, I give my point civilly, and we thrash it out and say,
fair
okay.
enough. If that situation has been exhausted,
if you punch me,
if that has been exhausted, if I punch you, you will also punch me.
And if I punch you back,
yeah.
And then we require the class monitor to take the next step.
Right.
If class monitor fails, friends to take, doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, friends don't work, then you have the teacher coming in.
So you are saying in 3 months' time, in 90 days, you have not exhausted all options.
Now that is where we are coming to the thing, that how is a system supposed to react? When it's a law and order problem, it should be dealt by the police and the administration. Now, obviously, if they have not dealt, they failed. Now, if the
do you think they have dealt?
They have not dealt, so it has come to this fore.
Do you think when the Chief Minister says after July 19 video surface, says that I didn't know about it, now I will take action, do you find that believable?
I have no comment on that because...
why, if a soldier shies away from speaking out the truth, then I think we are looking at a larger problem. Sir, what is it? We are all trying to be politically correct, but 90 days have gone. Those who have lost have lost. Those lives have gone, they are gone. Can we still continue to be a silent spectator, be politically correct and risk more, or do you think it is the time for action?
See, India is a big family. Different children are there, different, lot of diversity. If the children are not behaving, if they are not as per the requirement of the family norms, I am talking about the constitution, then the head of the family has to intervene. He has to come. Now the resource, I felt that it's over as far as the state level is concerned. Chief Minister is no more than the commander of the combined force. The final thing will be president rule. Will also come if it doesn't work out. And PR will be there, and then army will be coming down. But the two communities, they will not be able to see eye to eye. This is what I feel as of now. There is a requirement of a moderator who has got some danda in his hand, who will be able to tell, yes, you take out this and you speak out and you speak out, this kind of thing. Because Prime Minister is an institution. This post is an institution. That institution must order some must order and arrange some table at the center or any suitable place. And thereafter, dignitaries should be called there, including even the Chief Minister should be called there. And Chief Minister, why you did this? I'm talking about the previous action. That can be sorted out. Let the media also be seen. Let the whole country know. And you'll come to know who is right, who is wrong. That has to be done by a person, or let's say a chair or an institution which has got that power.
When they don't see eye to eye, do you think it has only made them blind, that they are not being able to see human side? Or do you think it is all an ongoing process? Naturally it will come to an end.
Look, first I'll take on your question, which you have been, the main issue is who could be the unifying force and what should be the role of ex-servicemen, which you just asked. Most of our colleagues, those who have, especially in Assam Regiment and all, they have commanded, they have served together various communities. And these ex-servicemen officers, they should be involved by the state to get all these people together, because politically it is very difficult, because they are on two different sides. Now it is very difficult to merge together. So the unifying factor and the force should be the armed forces and those who have served with these two communities to come together. It is very sad. We just had Kargil Divas in the state. I don't know how many officers and men were invited for that particular event. No. They are not involving in a thing which is not national, this thing. They call everybody else, but I didn't see any armed forces officer or Jawan or JCOs there.
Do you think in an occasion like that, a very good point, do you think in an occasion like that, the state should have also invited Kuki soldiers, Meitei soldiers, Naga soldiers, and that occasion is so solemn, would have once again rekindled hope?
Yes.
Maybe seeing people together on one stage can make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
When I travel from here to Churachandpur or from Kangpokpi, I see a border. I literally see a border and it hurts. I don't get the point, whether I'm traveling from one point of one state to another or I'm actually crossing one country to another. Do you think the state should have made an effort to bring forces together so that they can be seen as one force?
Yes, this is what I'm trying to say. You see, the state should involve, especially the ex-servicemen, to bring together the two communities, because they know each other. We have lived together, we have dined together, and even now, despite all these things, we speak to each other, those who know each other. Okay, then initially there may be little grievance because in a particular family there may have been death or something. So, but then the state government has failed when they got too much indicators prior to 3rd of May. They could have, taken very strong steps at that time. I don't think we would have reached this stage at all.
Okay, very quickly, sir, we are running out of time now. Appeal for peace. Do you think the time has come that everyone open their mouth and appeal for peace?
Even the Supreme Commander also can appeal for peace. And one message which I would like to pass to my regimental officers and JCOs and Jawan, that we are one. Never forget this. I heard one interview yesterday, and I also have a daughter. And that father's daughter he was crying like anything. I cannot bear it. My ex-servicemen, please, let's help each other. And let's make our Manipur a place to live, not a place to fight. Please. I cannot control my emotion, this kind of thing, because I belong to this regiment. The regiment where we lived together, we fought together, we served in very dangerous situations, and we helped each other. My buddy was ready to die for me, and most of the time my buddies were cookies. My Jesus were always there for me, and I was also always there for them. My ex-servicemen of the Assam regiment, we have to unite and tell and teach every civilian of our society that only peace and harmony will bring progress to our society or our Manipur.
A soldier never cries, okay? A soldier fights.
I did not cry. I cried for my country only because Manipur is also a part of this country, and I cannot see my children, my countrymen, I could not see yesterday that father of the girl crying, and it's on the other side also. Day before also, yesterday also, I saw this kind of thing. I could not stand it because they are all our children, not enemies. They are not our enemies. They are all our children. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Any appeal for peace?
The way forward is we have to learn to forgive and forget as we were taught from childhood in our schools. Hopping back on the past will not bring any solution. And fixing our stand and just refusing to talk also is not going to bring any solution. We need to come together, depend on each other, talk to each other, rather than banking on some outside agency to come and help us.
Okay.
And that will happen only if we sit down and talk.
This is a political problem. Only this can be solved by political parties and political will. As far as these politicians, they wanted to solve, they can solve it at any time. This is a lack of their political will.
The only solution is to sit down together, and however differences we may be having, but we have to sit down together, start up. There will be peace and tranquility, and that will be everlasting.
India will win this.
Yes, and we will.
India will win this, everyone?
Definitely.
Well, truth needs no focus light. Truth needs no proper background. Truth needs no proper setup. Truth needs to be told. And how better than this? And how better coming from these people who have all served this country, wearing that uniform for you and me. And as they have retired, they have still kept that uniform in honor of this country. And that uniform will not have a separate word, that is their community name on that uniform. That uniform will have only one name, the regiment name, the badges they have earned, and the tricolor. Jai Hind is one. Jai Hind cannot have Jai Hind bracket something else, Jai Hind and again bracket something else. The future could be anything, but at this point in time, it is very, very important to understand the crossroads is costing a lot to Manipur, and Manipur is India. When somebody says Manipur is mini India, I say no. Manipur is India. India is Manipur. If Manipur is in crossroads, how can the country be in peace? We have just tried putting out voices that you possibly will ignore because there is so much of clamor happening outside. But these voices matter because they talk from their experience, from the ground. They have head regiments, they have dealt with soldiers, they have been inside the same prayer room with multi-religious and multi-ethnic soldiers in one room, and they've never fought. They've only fought against the enemy, and the enemy here are those who are trying to divide. The enemy here are those who are killing each other, and that enemy should now be put to rest. Because India is not at peace as long as Manipur is not in peace. And our appeal to you is, give us another chance so that I can have a discussion, a longer one, with people from other communities, all servicemen, and let us prove you whether they sit together, when they sit together, whether they fight with each other or they hold each other's hand like a soldier, the way they have fought at the border, they hold their hands once again for a discussion. Let's prove whether it's possible or not. With video journalist Ronnie Shatra here in Manipur, this is Samal Shah for News the Truth, NTT.